not interested in being an associate. You want to be an FA. Okay? So all you need is 5 additional people. All right? So if one of those 2 people that you recruited becomes an associate, before the other one becomes an associate, you be an FA. Because you recruited 2 directly, one of those gets 3, and then the other one, when he or she gets 2, you've already qualified, as long as you got your points and your outs, even before they get the other one.
Okay, wait a minute,
So
so
you-
trainees up there, and then who would be, this is, you have one on, is it one on?
Yeah, the trainee recruits 2,
Okay.
1, 2,
Okay,
okay? And the first person
It's 3.
recruits 3,
okay,
because they become an associate.
okay,
Then this one, before she becomes an associate, you would have already qualified to be an FA,
okay,
because they got 2.
okay.
So if they don't ever make that other person,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter to you directly, but you don't want that to happen,
Nope.
because you don't want that person to get that close and not make it. So you need to contact, Tillman, Diane, me, Donald, somebody, and say, hey, I got a recruit that's got 2 people, and even if they have 1, even if a recruit only has 1 person, if they're interested in doing the business, 1 is significant, because all they got to do is get 2 more. So there are a number of ways to get 2 more. You may find somebody that wants to be a benefactor. You may figure out that you can come up with half of the money for one of them yourself, because it's worth it. I'm gonna show you in a minute why it's worth it. And then if you can get the other person that's happy because they've gotten themselves, they're gonna get promoted, they may have the money to help you sponsor another one. Because remember, we're all on the same team. Okay? This ain't about individualism, because you can't accomplish much if you just try to do it as an individual. And got a question?
No, I was just saying, right.
Okay. So,
Just to let you know, this will be on the YouTube channel. I'm recording it. Katekio Financial Education on the YouTube. Subscribe and you'll get notifications.
want to make sure we got Tillman branding himself. Now, let's take a look at, Felicia, Pencil Jeff did arrive. I told you I would announce his arrival.
What's up, Felicia?
Okay.
Yeah, I had to work.
He's early for Saturday's meeting.
Yeah. Hope I make it on time for that.
Way to go, Pencil.
Maybe.
Now, Pencil had an appointment the other day. Diane was telling you guys about it yesterday. Pencil had an appointment he got from some guy online, right?
Oh, wow.
And Diane and I went and did field training appointment with him. The guy's getting an insurance policy. We're still talking to him about trying to get into the business. But we asked him for referrals, and he claimed he didn't know anybody. He said except his brother. So his brother, coincidentally lives in Centerville. So I asked for his number. So he gave his number to Pencil. Pencil gave it to me. I contacted him, and Diane and I have an appointment with him tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And I've already confirmed that it is going to happen. And he says he needs insurance, so we'll see what happens. But that's how simple this process is setting an appointment, because like I've said repeatedly, it doesn't matter if nothing comes out of the appointment to you. Trust me, I've never seen a field training appointment where nothing came out of it. Even if they throw you out of the house, I guarantee you can get something from it. Okay? All right? Because that's not going to happen. So, but let's take a look at this same scenario in part. What if a trainee recruits 2 people, and then one of those people is aggressive, and they get 3 people? Now you got 5, you still need 2 more. Okay? Now what you don't want to have happen is this person who's super aggressive goes ahead and one of their 3 people, you know, decides to get one, you know, say each of those 3 people decide to get one. But see, even though you end up with 8 people, you still haven't qualified. Even though 8 is greater than 7. The reason you haven't qualified is because you have something called 50% rule.
Right, you have to
Okay.
have something to direct yourself.
So with the 50% rule, it simply says you can't have more than half of the requirement from any one leg. Okay, so you can't have any more than 4 people from one leg.
Can't count.
So that's why it's important that, you know, you can have it if you're trying to go for something higher. You can have it, you know, on your team. I mean, it's not disqualifying to have it on your team, but if you want to qualify for the promotion, then when you get to the promotion of field associate, that's a position of leadership. The requirement is that, you know, you diversify. They want you to build more than one leg, okay? So that's why it's imperative that you not just get one person and latch onto that person. You need to have at least 2.
Okay.
And see, the average person just keeps recruiting directly. Because if you build wide, and that used to be Matt and Sheena Sapolo's motto, it probably still is in Chicago, we're too wide, too deep, we can't be beat. Because they keep recruiting directly. So you got people wide, you never have that problem. You never have a 50% rule problem, okay? As long as somebody's doing something. Because you got too many opportunities for other people to do something. You with me? Felicia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, well, you got questions, just ask me. Because I want you to understand this, because there are all kinds of little nuances, you know, to these different approaches, and if you don't do it properly, then, you know, you can find yourself in a problem. And the same applies, by the way, for applications and points. You can't have all your points come from one big annuity. You know, Patrick wants you to diversify and have more business. So you can get your 3,000 points from one annuity. They won't get it. You can't have more than 50% of your points, you know, from any one leg. Now, one thing you can't do, well, one thing you can't do though, is you can have all your points come from you. If you did it,
Okay.
you know, if you got a big annuity or something, you know, there's no restriction on you building you. Now, if you're an associate, like you are, Felicia, and like Darnetta soon will be, and like Shantae is, and like Pencil is. Pencil is-
Don't leave me out to that.
See?
I was happy to
See,
do
I
that.
deliberately left you last because you're late.
I've been a training for too long. You leave me out.
Now, if you're an associate, I'm gonna make the same diagram, okay, with the associate up at the top. And an associate inherently has at least 3 people because you had to get 3 people to become an associate, correct? So what if you already got 3 people?
Right.
Okay, you already got 3 people, and it doesn't matter, Felicia, if they're not doing anything. It doesn't matter, Pencil, if they're not doing anything, okay? You still got them, okay? So, because you never know, they may wake up one day,
Okay.
but they're not required to pay anything, you know, once they join. So, if you're trying to become a field associate, and you already got people, well, it behooves you to at least recruit 1 more. Okay? So now you got 4 directs.
Okay.
Now you got 4 directs. Okay? And now if you get that 1, because he's still over here kind of lazy and you can't get him to do much. If you get that 1 person that you just recruited to do something, you know, they become an associate. Okay? So
Fred,
now you got those 3 associates
could you put an E in the first, yeah, put an E in there?
in here
Yeah, just
for
put it,
extra.
yeah, for extra.
Okay?
Okay.
E is for extra, okay? And
Or
then this
Ebony.
this is 1, 2, and 3. And these are from, these represent, how do I want to show that? Bad drawing, but This represents, associate. This is why you got your associate promotion from the first three. And then you have this extra one because this special initiative is on the table for this month of March, okay? So you want to get 7 people, you know, just like the trainee does, okay? You want to get 7 people. So how can you accomplish that? Well, you want to find somebody who, number one, has the money, and somebody who, you know, loves or cares about you and wants to see you win. So that's who you try to recruit. You know, you'll accept anybody, but you're looking for, you're targeting somebody who cares about you, somebody that wants you to win. That could be your sister, your brother, or somebody like that, okay? You don't care if they don't do the business at this point, okay? Because we haven't taught them anything. They don't know anything.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. It's all a numbers game, okay? So you get that person to help you get 3 people. So you got 4 just like that. So now, if you can go back and inspire, you know, a couple of these other people to just get 1 person, okay? If each one of them get 1 person, you're there. And they're not on one leg. They're not all on one leg.
Now, how many do you do personally?
1.
1.
The
So,
requirement
and
is.
so if E was already there, and this month, E was there, and the month starts to where you get 3 more extra up on the E,
Mhm.
so Ebony becomes an associate.
Right.
All right.
Well, the
I
E.
understand it, I've been understood. I done went over it too many times, I know.
But remember the E is.
You see, I'm looking for reflex. She's like, I ain't even looking over there.
But remember the E in this scenario has to be recruited this month.
Yeah, but if the E was already recruited, then you have to do a different plan then.
Yeah.
So then,
But see, in that case, the E is already there. The E is one of these.
all right.
Okay. And see, you already got, like Shantae, you know, you already an associate. Pencil, you're an associate. You know, Donetta, you're becoming an associate. So you have 3 people already. So you can get those people to help you do something. So, you know, just like you got some of them to help you to become an associate. Say, hey, I need some more help. It doesn't have to be you, but I need you to go get me somebody. You don't have to talk to them. Just get them, you know, to find somebody that they trust, somebody that they care about, and get them to talk to Tim, get them to talk to Diana, get them to talk to me on your behalf. Okay? And so you just want them to help you.
I do.
This is all a help me game.
Yeah.
Sure
Right?
is.
So on that E leg, you can only do, you said no more than 50%. So for the 7 rule, you're gonna get 3 out of that anyway.
Right.
All right, so that's the max you can get out of there.
Right.
So then your focus is either, like you said, on your one of the other sources, or you bring another E2.
Or you can bring another E. Yeah.
Yeah, another
There you
E2.
go. Yeah. Remember, you can recruit as many as you want yourself.
All right.
See, when Lake started, Lake had probably 75 people that she recruited. I mean, they were all direct to her, okay? So an issue became points, getting some production out of them. That was the issue. That's why it took her a minute to become a marketing director. But she's the best recruiter I've ever seen, okay?
All right, so E2.
You know, I know we have issues and stuff like that, but I'm just telling you, you heard me say it.
Oh, you
okay?
gotta give props when props is due.
That's right.
She is a
She's
hell
the
of a
best-
recruiter.
she's the best recruiter I've ever seen.
She is.
So E2.
Okay? So when I need somebody and I can't get them and stuff like that, I mean, I call her. And then she calls me, you heard me say a few weeks ago, she calls me to recruit for her, okay? Because there's some people, they want to hear from a guy, you know? And she'll have Dawn do it or whatever. But she's a heck of a recruiter, and we should use her. Because she wants you to be successful, because it benefits her. It's her agency, okay, right?
Okay.
It's not Donald's agency, it's Lake's. Okay? She's under Donald, you know, but this agency is hers. Okay? So we should help her.
So we get E2.
And help her to understand that. Okay? That she can help us.
Okay.
All right?
There we go.
So everybody understand that?
Well, no,
how you
we're
feel?
not finished with this one, are
We
we?
haven't gotten 7.
We haven't gotten 7 yet here. We're
Well, I
still
said give each one of these to get one.
okay. I was looking for some circles for video preferences. You know.
Yeah. You get each one, you go back and get, you know, if you can get this guy to do 2. I mean, it's just math. Okay? So now, what do you want me to call this?
This is called a circle.
A plus. These are pluses, okay?
Okay, all right. So okay.
So now you got 3 plus 3
6.
plus 1 is 7.
And if that one was already there, then that E2,
Would be your next
that E,
one.
put an E2 next to that right
This
there.
one?
Yeah. So that would be Shantae's plan. Because it would be nice if we can walk out of here with a plan for ourselves. Each person should walk out of this room, finishing this meeting with a plan. And that's the objective here. So Shantae can say, okay, look like a football thing, but,
Right.
You know,
I
that-
get it. I understand.
well, no, we just write that kind of stuff up and you
Oh,
just
yeah.
look at
I
it.
got
See, the thing to
Okay,
remember
yeah.
is Shantae has to recruit at least one this month.
One more.
One more. Okay? And then she can take Ebony, and Ebony can do this.
Now this is what I'll do.
And that would be 4, and then she gotta get 3 more from somewhere, anywhere.
For,
And it can be another person who becomes an associate.
Right.
for anybody who's on the call, who's on my team directly, I'm paying half of the registration fee for at least one person to be on your team. So
Does
that's
that
for
apply to-
all the people on my call that's direct
Does
to
that
me.
apply to your hierarchy too? Wanna make sure I get it in. Cause I need 40 recruits. Okay? In order for me and Diane to make what we try to do, we need 40 recruits, and that's reduced.
Now, I gave,
It's ordinarily 50
yeah.
in 1 month.
I'm doing that in Columbus, so we got those 2-3 people we're pulling up on that kind of program. But I'm doing it for Dayton and Cincinnati as well, for those folks who are directly with me.
Fantastic.
All right?
Fantastic.
Everybody got this?
Yeah.
Okay? Any questions so far? I want to share with you, the reason, and I talked about a little bit of this yesterday, or when was that? On Sunday. If you had, if you have your license, and everybody in here, except Shantae so far, has their license, including you, Felicia. So, with your license, say a person buys a simple insurance policy at $100 a month. I'm gonna try to write a little better to it. $100 a month policy, that translates to 1,200 points. But you multiply 100 times 12 months, because the insurance company is willing to pay commission 1 year in advance. Okay? So that's how you get to 1,200. So 1,200, that's 1,200 points. Okay? Now, if you, as the agent, make the appointment, and all you did was the appointment, because I advocate that's all you have to do, is the appointment. Well, you're entitled to half of these points. The other 50% goes to whoever else is involved in that policy delivery, okay? This also means $1,200 total payout. What that means is, when this policy is processed and approved by National Life Group, they will withdraw funds from the client's account. And when they do that, then they will send $1,200 to PHP. Okay? Now, PHP will divide this within your specific hierarchy completely. So everybody, so let's just say Afton, who is a trainee, has her license, and she is involved in this sale. She's entitled to 50% of it, because all she did was set the appointment. She wasn't even there. She just set the appointment. That's all that matters, okay? Or, she may not have even set the appointment. Like in Pencil's case. Pencil set the appointment with the brother. I set the appointment, but it was his referral. So he's entitled to 50%. He'll be at work. He'll have Diana be working for him. That's how it works, okay? So, $1,200 total payout because Afton is a trainee. At the 30% contract level, that means simply that Afton would be entitled to 30% of $1,200. That's $120 times 3, right? So that's $360, I believe, times 50% equals $180, right? And like I said, she doesn't even have to be there. She gets $180 from that policy, and all she did was say, "That's my cousin, I want you to go talk to him." Okay? Now, the rest of the money goes to the associate, which is 40% contract level. With me, Felicia?
I missed what I heard. The rest of the money goes to the associate. You get points for that. I'm just,
Now, what I'm saying is, when
it's not like this here.
let me clarify something for you. When a policy is written, the math is done, you multiply the premium times 12, and the insurance company pays the total payout to PHP for that transaction.
Okay.
Now the question is, who gets paid? Okay? In this example, Afton is the generator of that policy because she started it. She set the appointment. So she's a trainee, but she has a license, so she's entitled to be paid. Okay? So she gets paid her equivalent percentage of the $1,200 total payout. Okay? So you multiply the 30% times 1,200, and that's 360, and because all she did was set the appointment, she didn't close the deal, she didn't process the policy, she didn't follow up on the policy after it got processed. She doesn't know how to do all that. She don't care about all that at this point, okay, as an example. So she gets
Okay.
50% entitlement for that transaction. Now, some may say, well, shoot, I mean, it'd be better if she could get all of it. Well, I say it would be better, unless you got time to devote to all this. I say it's better to take the 50% and set about 10 more appointments that week. That's what I would say. Yes, sir.
But eventually, as a agent who's been doing it a while, I mean, you pretty much learn to do the other stuff yourself to where
Absolutely.
you want, and yeah, but in the early stages, you do that. But there's a progression where you say, okay, I'll be doing most of my other stuff on the policy as well.
My philosophy is still the same. I'm kind of like the actor that was working for Clint Eastwood. He's a great director, right? Got all kinds of Academy Awards. He was doing a movie with Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood told him what he's supposed to do, and he did it, and he said, and Clint Eastwood said, "Cut, that's good." He said, "I could have done that so much better." And he said, I need to practice one time, so let me try it again. Eastwood said, "Okay, let's do it again." So the actor does the same thing again, and he said, "Wow, I think that was so much better." Clint Eastwood looked at his cut man on there and said, "Print the first one." Okay? so that's the way I am, all right? In this example, all I'm saying is, I don't care if you're working or not working. You can learn all this if you want to. I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful to be smart. But Patrick has set this up in a way that you can multiply your income capability by virtually doing nothing. Because what you want to do is work on putting yourself in a position of getting paid and getting promoted. And all that means is getting paid at a higher level. Okay? So if you want to spend the time to do all that, process this whole policy so you can get 50% more, I think you can make 4 more money if you set up 2 or 3 more appointments. And because you don't have to do anything. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying don't be smart, okay?
Okay.
I'm not saying don't do it. So I'm not disagreeing with Kilman, I just have a different approach. So with the associate at 40%, it's the same scenario. You would multiply 40% times the 1,200 if that person made the sale. But in this example, after made the sale, as a trainee, her mom, she's on her mom's team. Donetta, once her promotion goes through, will be an associate. So she's at the 40% contract level. So Donetta didn't even know that Afton made the sale, okay? Donetta is entitled to 50% of 10% of the total payout. 10% of the total payout is $120. Donetta is entitled to 50% of that. She's entitled to $60, and she didn't do anything. So the issue is, or the main point here is, just imagine if the $1,200 were $12,000, which it could be. It can be anything. This is just a normal amount of policies that we do. But we have people, Tilton's working on one now, the guy's gonna do $500 a month. Okay? So it's nothing to expect that this couldn't be $1,000 a month. Okay? And so you multiply 1,000 times 12, it's $12,000. Okay? So that person is worth 30% of that $12,000. This person is gonna get 10% of this times 50%. And she doesn't have to even be in the country. Okay? That's the point to all this. That's why I wrote that document. So I want you guys to look at that and understand that. Okay? Now, if a person is an FA, which is what's on the table, and let's just say this person doesn't even exist, the associate. Let's just say you have an associate who has a trainee who, first of all, has her license. The trainee has her license, and the FA has her license. But there's no associate between them. You understand how that's possible, right? Because this FA decided she may have just been a trainee yesterday, and she took advantage of this opportunity in March, and she became an FA. Okay? Some people want to take advantage of it, and some say, I'll catch it next time. I'm saying that's not wise. Okay? Because what if Donetta, what if Afton State remains a trainee, and the next opportunity comes along, and now Donetta is here at an FA, now she's entitled to 20% of this number. Not 10%, 20%. So she's entitled to $240 divided by 50%, because she's gonna get half of the deal. So she would get $120 in that case. Or if it was 12,000, you can do the math. Now, got a question? Are you saying okay?
She said okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
All right. So the math is just math. Okay. So the difference between Afton and the FA is 20%, and it always goes back to this payout number. Okay. Now, what if? Let me give you another scenario. What if Donetta were a legitimate FA? Afton is a trainee, but she doesn't have her license.
I get all of it.
There you go.
Now you at least gotta
She
do
done claimed all your money.
a little gift to the person who doesn't have the license. Just say thank you for doing
Donetta
it.
handled the whole
I
thing.
got all of it.
But Donetta would
She
get
get a license.
50% of this total amount, if she can handle the whole thing, because she been listening to Diane and learning how to do this, and listening to Tillman, because they know how to put all this stuff in, okay? So Donetta in that case will be entitled to $600, half of the amount.
And the trainee will get the points.
The trainee will get the points if they need the points.
Yeah.
You only get the points if you need the points to get promoted. Because the points don't mean anything otherwise. The points don't accumulate unless you're going for something over a 90-day run. And then it lasts for 90 days. I mean, the points are there. You know, like January, February, March, you're running for something. And the only thing you can run for greater than 30 days is FA and above. Okay? But the requirements are greater. You can be if you want to be an FA and you want to take 90 days to do it, you got to have 15, 30. You got to have 15 applications, you got to have 15 recruits, and you got to have 30,000 points. Not 10,000 points and 10 recruits and 10 apps. You got to have 30,000 points, 15 apps, and 15 recruits, and you got to have 6 licensed and appointed agents.
You do it in 90 days.
Yeah, so that's why this is so significant, that you can become an FA just by getting 777 and nothing else. Just do it between now and March 31st. Questions?
So Donnetta, you would get a trainee letter. Girl, oh, Donnetta, that's cold now, that's cold.
They need to get their license.
So, let me see, director, did I say that right for FA? You have to have 6 licenses appointed?
I believe so.
Is that right?
Is that?
That is
I never knew
that's
that.
for the director.
Is that
The
for
director,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you said that, I wasn't gonna correct you on video, but you
Yeah.
know.
I thought about it.
This is live video, and it's for
I was
director.
looking at Tillman and I was thinking about what he needs to do. That's what Tillman got to do. But you do have to be licensed, you know, if you go for the 90-day run for an FA. If you do it in 30 days, you don't have to be licensed. Okay? Is that right, Diana?
That's right.
Okay.
Any particular plans,
So I'm gonna go any further than that for now.
does she need any, no, she's an associate, so she,
Yeah.
okay.
He's an associate. So Felicia, you need to, you know, you can just, you know, give me, Tillman, or Diana a call and tell us what you have in mind, what you would like to do, because it's still very doable. We still got 21 days to make this happen. So it's very doable, because all it takes is
Okay.
somebody who cares about you enough, who has $200, and they join the business. And, you know, we'll, you know how to get points, because you've been doing that before. You know, you're licensed and everything, so it makes sense for you to get points anyway, but you get paid. So it's just a matter of adopting the Nike philosophy, and let's just do it. You know, you just have to just make up in your mind you're gonna do it. Because if you had to do something, you would. It's the same kind of energy and everything that a mother exhibits when if a car is pinning her child. I mean, she would figure out, she wouldn't have to figure it out. It's just a thoughtless reaction. You just pick the car up, you take the car off the kid. I mean, people do it all the time. I mean, so that's the kind of mindset you have to have. So I always use the example, you know, what if the judge said, called you in, you were totally innocent, and he said, but I'm gonna put you in jail for 10 years if you don't get a job by the end of the week. Well, guess how many people would get a job? Some people wouldn't. Would you be one of those people? I would get a job, right? Doing something. So that's the kind of attitude you gotta have about it. And we're all here willing to help you. And some of us more than others, because like I say, almost everybody in here is on my team. So it's a vested interest for Diana and me to help you anyway. Okay? And when we help you, you know, the way the system is set up, you know, we have a point system, what do you call it, a split system that allows anybody who helps somebody else, you know, to get, part of the commission that comes from the case. So if you have the ability to help somebody close a deal, even though they may not be on your team, well, you're entitled to, at least 25% of the deal, because you closed the deal and everything. And then the person who puts it in and processes and follows up gets 25%, but the person that's licensed, who set the appointment, gets 50% automatically. They don't have to know anything. You don't have to be able to spell annuity, you don't have to be able to spell life insurance, you don't have to know anything. So don't get so caught up on, I gotta learn this and I gotta learn that, now what do I say to the person? Just ask them, do you have any insurance? Well, why not? You know, would you like to talk to somebody that can help you with that? You know, come down to my office, right? That's all you have to say. Okay? It's that simple.
Oh, I had a commercial that was running through my head while you were saying that. Even the dummy can do this.
That's right. You ask Diane, I'm the dummy. I do it all the time. Because all they can say is no. Get out of my face. It's like, okay, no problem. What about your buddy right there? You know what I say? What about your girlfriend? She got any insurance?